The fog over Sleepy Hollow Maine. The rental car, a nondescript silver sedan that felt entirely too modern for the landscape, crept along the shoulder of the road, its headlights struggling to pierce the thick, milky veil of fog clinging to the coastal Maine highways. Elias Thorne gripped the steering wheel, his knuckles white. The GPS on his phone had been flickering in and out of service for the last 20 miles, leaving him to navigate by memory and the erratic, fading trail signs. Sleepy Hollow. The name sounded like something plucked from a Gothic novel, a kitschy tourist trap that local real estate agents surely sold to city dwellers looking for an authentic New England escape. But as the trees pressed closer to the pavement, their gnarled branches reaching out like skeletal fingers through the gloom, the atmosphere shifted. The air outside smelled of brine, damp cedar, and something older, something like wet earth turned over after a century of silence. Elias eased the car into a lower gear as the incline steepened. The fog didn't just hang in the air. It coiled around the chassis, heavy and damp, muffling the sound of the engine until the world felt as though it had shrunk to the 5-foot radius illuminated by his lamps. He checked the dashboard clock. 11:42 p.m. He was behind schedule, and the isolation was beginning to gnaw at his composure. He had come here to hide. Or, at the very least, to be forgotten. The prestigious university tenure was a smokescreen, a comfortable tomb where he could bury his past under stacks of ungraded papers and obscure colonial history. He needed a place where the shadows were long enough to hide a man who had spent too many years running from his own reflection. A sharp, jagged turn in the road forced him to brake hard. The tires skidded on a patch of slick, fallen leaves, the sound echoing like a gunshot in the oppressive quiet. As he corrected, the fog parted for a fleeting second, revealing a glimpse of the town's threshold. A cluster of Victorian-era storefronts, their windows dark, their silhouettes jagged against the purple-black sky. He slowed to a crawl, the car rolling down a narrow, cobblestone-lined lane that felt less like a street and more like a passage into a different century. His phone buzzed, the screen flashing a final, desperate attempt at a signal before the map vanished entirely into a black void. "Perfect," he muttered, his voice sounding raspy in the sudden silence of the cabin. He was looking for the residence the department had secured for him, a drafty, high-ceilinged carriage house on the outskirts of the historical district. But every street looked identical in the disorienting, shifting mist. The fog seemed to possess a will of its own,